Welcome back to Take Action News, everybody. David Shuster here. This is the segment where we like to focus on somebody who's making a difference in his or her community, our Activist of the Week. And we are so pleased. Well, before I announce who our Activist of the Week, let me give you a little background. She's been involved in online technology since 1994, but she's a longtime feminist blogger, activist, and organizer. She's the online manager for the Women's Media Center. Our Activist of the Week, Michelle Kinsey Bruns. Michelle, congratulations and welcome to the program.
Hi, David. Thanks so much for having me.
Great to have you. Michelle, one of the reasons that we selected you, in addition to your activism over the years, is that you recently were on a train, an Amtrak train, following the march, the Right to Life March, in which anti-abortion activists come to Washington, D.C., and explain what happened when you saw a train full of younger people who had just been protesting against abortion. Tell us about what you did.
Well, I had been a Catholic school student myself, and I was able to determine from the sweatshirts that the kids were wearing that they were from a Catholic high school in New Orleans. And I remembered being a Catholic student myself and realized that these teenagers had possibly never heard somebody stand up without shame and say, I had an abortion, it was the right thing for my life, I'm not sorry, I don't regret it, here's why. And so I walked into their reserved train car, and I stood up and took a few minutes, and I told them.
And what was their reaction? Did they pay attention to you? What did they say?
They did. The kids were actually pretty respectful in terms of what I had expected. I'd interacted with them previously, for example, at previous March for Life counter-protest situations where they will actually very aggressively argue you down and tell you that, no, you don't feel the way you feel about your abortion, you're just wrong. But in this instance, maybe it was a little bit more of an intimate situation. They were pretty respectful, and they listened. And there wasn't actually time. I was only on the train with them for about 10 minutes. There wasn't really time for any kind of a back and forth, but you know, I can only hope that I was heard, and certainly I know that when I was their age in their school, I'd never heard of anything like that.
What did it feel like after you had spoken with them in the train?
I don't think that the adrenaline shakes subsided for a good 2 or 3 hours afterwards. I went home and I tweeted my confessions to the rest of the world, because if I'm telling folks on the train, why not explain to the entire internet? But you know, it was good.
Well, and one of the things that, I mean, so striking to us is, you know, we're all about empowering people and reminding people that there are action opportunities sometimes where you least expect it, and that's one of them where, you know, you think that, okay, on a train you can even take some action.
Right, absolutely. And, you know, you don't often get that opportunity to have a crowd.
I got to ask you, Michelle, and again, we're talking with Michelle Kinsey Bruns. She's the online manager for the Women's Media Center. What do you think is the most important lesson as an activist that you would impart to other people who are considering it?
To really know that you're not talking to either to the choir, to the people you already believe with what you believe, and you're also not talking to the professional opposition either. It really is, if you'll forgive the cliche, about changing hearts and minds. It's about changing people who haven't yet heard your perspective, and who really make up the voting populace and the public opinion in this country.
And I gather, I mean, there are setbacks along the way when you're an activist. Things don't happen overnight.
Oh, of course, sure, it's true, and you definitely develop a toolbox of skills over time. Anything from public speaking to anticipating pushback to the arguments that you feel are so persuasive. These are skills that you develop over time. You do have to just kind of push through and get better and learn from things that aren't so successful.
Michelle, in the final minute we have left, the merging of online technology and activism, where do you see that going over the next year or two?
You know, it's absolutely vital. I think that that online is obviously accessible to many more people in a lot of cases than any kind of in-person. You know, not everybody has the mobility, the privilege, the money to go to a big rally or to go to meetings of kind of the established organizations. So the online experience provides kind of an activist commons where we can organize, we can communicate, we can build our networks together. In the old days, the 70s, you know, it was a phone tree. Now you have the internet, and that will always be invaluable.
And your Twitter handle is Clinic Escort, which represents part of your activism of escorting women into clinics where they may get abortions or advice, and it essentially protects them from people who want to protest.
Right, or simply provide moral support because an activist like me knows that there are always people bullying and harassing outside of a clinic, but a woman who's showing up for the first time or who might only go 4 times a year for her birth control, she's not necessarily expecting that, prepared to deal with that. A clinic escort provides some moral support, some backup, and some distraction from some of the hate that gets directed at her.
Michelle Kinsey Bruns is our activist of the week. Michelle, congratulations, and thanks for being part of the program.
Thanks so much, David.
You're very welcome. Michelle can be followed on Twitter at Clinic Escort. Fascinating stuff.